In this video, we're going to cover how to create a form to collect quality data on the factory floor. Now, there's two steps to doing this. One, we have to create a custom object to be able to hold the data that we want to collect, and then we need to build a form to collect that data. So let's start off with managing objects. So I've gone to Administration and clicked Manage Object. This is an enterprise feature of the product, so you must have the enterprise package to be able to access and create custom objects. Same with forms. That is also an enterprise feature of the product. So the first thing that we need to do is add a child object of the production run, because what we want to do is collect quality data for a specific production run, so a specific part on a specific machine for a certain shift on a certain day. And we're going to collect that data multiple times throughout the shift. Let's say we need to do these quality checks once an hour, for example. So what we do is we click Add Object, and let's call it quality. Let's call it hourly quality checks. And the parent object in this case is going to be production run. So it's going to be associated with every production run that we create. So I hit save. Okay, so now that's been created. We see hourly quality checks. It's associated with the production runs, and it's a custom object. So as we've seen before, you can change the name of this if you want to. You can delete them, and then you can add custom fields. So let's add some custom fields. So we'll make this very simple. We're going to record the temperature, let's say, of the grill, because in our example, we're Bob's Burgers, we're making burgers. So we're going to record the temperature of the grill and maybe the weight of a patty, a burger patty. So we're going to add a custom field called temp, and the type is going to be numeric. It is required, and it's a number, and we want decimals down to 2 places. Of the grill. Hit save. Now we're going to add another custom field, and we'll call it weight, numeric, the number. Again, 2 decimals. It is required. We'll call it weight in grams. Okay. And then let's add another custom field, which will be something simple, a sign off, someone just to type their name that this was actually completed. It's going to be text. It's also required. And to review again, there's a lot of different types of fields that we can add. So, we have date times, we have drop downs, we have buttons, we have custom calculations, yes, no, things like that. So it makes it really flexible in terms of what you can add. Let's do another one. Let's do color, and we'll do buttons. It's brown. Let's say it's gray and red. So maybe red is undercooked, brown is about right, and gray is overcooked. So you can add any of these options here. You can also change the order of display on the screen. So maybe we want to go from most done to least done. And we'll add some help text. Okay, and hit save. So now that we've created this, we're going to go create a form. Okay, we'll call it hourly quality checks grill. And this is a custom form, and we're just going to submit data. So what that means is we're not going to record any events when we submit the data. You could record scrap, you could record quantity events, you could record downtime anytime you do this as well. Okay, hit submit. So now we're going to add our form fields. So we have our hourly quality checks fields here, and we're going to add color first. And we have the ability to override our original settings. Is it required? Do we have notes? Is it part of a group? So let's just keep adding here for our quality checks. We'll add temperature, we'll add weight, And finally, we'll add sign off. And you'll notice I'm not changing anything on the pop-ups on the defaults here because the settings on the fields are fine. I don't need to override them. All right, so now they're all here. And I can change the order of display, like I mentioned before, so we can drag these around if we want, and that changes how they're displayed on the screen. The other thing we could do is we could group fields together. So we could actually group temperature and weight into a group called measurements, right? So we can add that, and then I could move this to the top, for example, like this, and then I could put weight underneath it if I wanted to, and temperature. So I put temperature in there first, and then I put weight. So now we have a group of measurements, we have color that you have to pick, and we have sign off. So the next thing that we have to do is associate this form with a machine and or a part. So we're really only going to do this when we're grilling burgers. So let's say we're doing that on the fryer. Let's say there's one, iPad there by the fryer and the grill, and they're right next to each other. So we're going to choose that, and then I could choose what part. So I could say, well, this is only used on burgers, right? The other thing that we could do is we could say, well, it doesn't matter where I'm making the burgers. I can on any machine, as long as I'm making a burger, I have to use these quality checks. So let's do that. So I'm going to hit update, and then I'll hit save. Okay, so now we have our hourly quality checks grill form with all of our custom fields. So now how we access this is we go over to one of our machines. So let's say, the burgers are running in the bakery right now. And we have our forms button right here. So every hour I can click the forms button, say, okay, here's my hourly quality checks grill form. So I click that, and then here it is. So we have our temperature, we have our weight, and we have our color. So we could take a reading and say, okay, the temperature of the grill is, let's see, 220 degrees. The weight of our burger in grams is, let's say, 45 grams. And then the color is red. And here's my sign off, and I'll put my name in here. And then I can hit submit. Just like with the other forms, you could say, okay, add another. So I could just keep this up. So every hour I just, have this form here and I have to fill it out. Or I could not do that and it'll just go away. And then it's been recorded. So we can also look at that by clicking on the Forms tab here and see that hourly quality checks have been entered. I can edit this based on my permission, so I can go back and view it at any time. The submitted date is the first time that you submit it, and then this is any time that you've updated it. So this gives it a timestamp that you can use for quality. When was this actually done? So if you have to go back and do some research about any issues there were with, temperature, quality, color, any of that, you can do that really easily. The other thing that's great about the forms and the custom fields is that they're available everywhere in the system. So if the temperature is too low, you can create an alert for somebody. You can build a dashboard that says, show me every single temperature reading across time so that I can see if things have fluctuated. I can build scatter plots on that. I can do control charts. So all of this data is available in the scoreboards, dashboards, alerts, and really anywhere you can use any other data inside of the system. So to cover what we did here again, we created a custom object that's associated with the production run to be able to hold our quality checks and that data, right? So here is that data associated with it. And then we created a form to be able to enter that information. So here's our hourly quality checks form, and we group together our measurements, and then we have our color, and then we have the sign off for that. So again, you can create really any form to collect any data to really help you replace Excel and paper processes out on the floor, which gives you more real-time visibility into what's happening.